welcome to another wrap-up video. This has been a theme for our channel lately because we've been finishing a whole bunch. But Brandon is in a hurry to get his truck back so it can go to Grand National Roadster Show, which is actually this weekend. So today's Tuesday, he's picking up today. He's got to roll in Thursday. So while we had a minute, we'll walk you through it. First and foremost, Frank and I, Candy, did not paint this truck. So we're gonna get that out of the way. Second is, yes, the top is chopped. And third, no, I don't know how much. I don't even think Brandon knows how much. And then fourth, this is Pony's old truck. So now that all that's out of the way, let's tell you what we did to it. Starting with where we always start, the truck is setting on a new chassis. This is an airbag version of the Revb Chassis. We have Baer 6-piston, 14-inch, they call it their Pro Plus kit, all the way around. And in front of those are the coolest wheels that I think we've ever done at the shop. These are called Shot Light Speeds. And unique to this for us is we have a 24-inch up front as well. So 24/9 up front with some little rubber bands on there. I know the people in the comments are gonna talk about stupid lowered trucks and their dumb tires. Well, to those of you, bye. To the rest of you, hey. 24/12 in the rear. Because this truck was already painted and we didn't want to touch any of the paint, that's why we went with really small tire up front. It had really small tires on it before. We had to keep it inside the fender, inside the slosh tubs that are in there, and we'll show you the slosh tubs when we get under there, but same thing out back. We kept it a 12-inch wide with a 24 because the wheel tubs are already in here. And we didn't want to mess with the bed liner and the paint around the bed sides, so we left that alone. Other stuff we did on the outside, cleaned up all the windows, put in some new moldings, got the windows going up and down better. These are actually a custom cut window, whereas the windows before were like the factory glass that he made work, which did work, but these work a little bit better. And got some Ring Brothers mirrors, put a little bend in them. These are the cool rectangular versions, and we had them polished up. So mounted those, got a rear view mirror on the inside. So now you can actually see when you drive out of this. So Brandon bought this at Baer Jackson a few years ago. Said he drove around the block and that was it, sat parked. Then it came to us because he wanted to rebuild the whole thing. So we've got Revb Chassis with the Baer brakes, shot wheels. We'll talk about their suspension when we get back in the back. Let's go under the hood first. The firewall was already painted, the slosh tubs were already here. Everything else is new. Because of the 24s, we had some clearance issues with the slosh tubs. So we actually cut the edge of the slosh tub off, cleaned up the cut in the fender, and then built these stainless trim pieces to close out the hole. And then we had those polished up as well. Kind of goes with the rest of the paint and polish theme. This is new radiator, new engine, like new brakes, our typical brake system that we like to use. So a lot of this is new, but the only thing that Frank painted under here is the engine, transmission, and the covers on the engine. So we built these covers out of sheet metal. We've built them a few times. We like the way it looks. This is basically, in my opinion, the most reliable way to do one of these because everything on this engine is Chevrolet. So intake manifold Chevrolet, valve cover Chevrolet, coil packs Chevrolet, everything's Chevrolet. But basically what we did is we took their 430 horse version of this and pulled the top off of it and redid the whole top end is new springs, new push rods, trunnion upgrades, new bigger injectors, and then of course the Brian Tooley Racing cam that J&R spec'd out for us and we put in here. We backed this engine up with a choice transmission 4L65E with a yank converter that we had spec'd when we spec'd out the cam. So this thing, this is like a perfect combination for me. Not too much power, not too little power, good cam lobe, so it sounds killer at idle, and it's super reliable. So Eddie Motorsports, pulley setup, obviously polished. We built the intake tube, again, polished. We had to deal with some of the holes in the firewall over here. So we did our normal ABS brake master cylinder, which is on our website for sale. But we had to deal with some holes on the firewall, so we ran some soft lines rather than typical hard line, just because the holes were a little sporadic and we would rather make it look like it was there on purpose, then we were trying to fix something. So ran with soft lines on this one. They go down to the chassis, and then from there it's hard lined out to where it goes out to the wheels again, soft line. So another thing we did is obviously with the Eddie Motorsports pulley setup, we added AC. This truck did not have AC before. And again, we didn't want to mess with the firewall, so we put the bulkhead nice and low. Runs right, all the AC and heater lines run right across the frame rail. It's good. Is it ideal? Not totally, but we're trying not to paint anything on this truck. We didn't want to mess with the bead roll lines. Try to leave as much of it as lone as we could. And I think we did that. For what this truck was to what this truck is, I think it's a huge, vast improvement just in drivability and reliability. So we didn't mess around with everything like the hood opening and closing, but it does do pretty good. So wipers now work. We have Marquet molding on this one. The bumpers are all smoothie bumpers. These are like we normally get them from Brothers Truck Parts. So no bumper bolts, no center part for the tag. It's built into this one and a lot more flush. And then of course, like all of our builds, we upgrade all the lighting to LED lights from United Pacific. This one goes up a lot. So one of the things we did do on the outside of the truck is we did do a whole new bed floor. So with the new chassis, the notch was a little bit lower than the old one. So we're able to lower the bed floor a little bit. And then we built a new hinge setup with our billet hinges and of course AccuAirs. Chassis is Revb, like we said. And this was powder coated by Pacos. To tell the truth, they kind of screwed up on the color of the powder coat, but I ended up really liking it, and so does Brandon. So it was one of those, as Bob Ross says, happy mistakes. And then of course, AccuAir and Baer compressors. So AccuAir, this is their VT tank, so 5 gallon with the valves inside of it. So we literally just have an airline coming out and going straight to the bag, and that's it. So the chances for leaks are a lot less. Just like all of our chassis, we like to run airline and electrical and as much as we can through the frame rail. So when you look back here, you really don't see hardly any wiring or plumbing or anything. All you see is the soft line from the Baer compressor going inside of the tank. And then in the middle is our E-level ECU, which is what controls everything. You barely even see the exhaust on this one. So on the Revb frame with the 12-inch wides, we're able to bring the exhaust outside and run it right next to the frame rail. So all you can see for exhaust wise is right at the X-pipe underneath the drive shaft, and then it shoots out, goes away. Bore the mufflers back here. This exhaust is all 304 stainless, so we polished it all out. And like I say, you don't see a ton of it, but it is there. Batteries are up front. Of course, our tailgate latch kit, and then we put some jumper ports in here. We did build this closeout panel. It's one of the other things that Frank did paint for us. But yeah, that's the truck. Look how nice this closes. I didn't even shut it that hard. Didn't need to shut it that hard. Interior, we didn't do much on. We did do some, obviously, new column, new steering wheel. And then one of the big things we did is these seats were just mounted straight to the floor before. So you're sitting really low and fairly uncomfortable. So we did make some seat mounts and move these up. And then with the new engine transmission and chassis, obviously some of the stuff in the floor changed a little bit. So we sent the truck over to Steve. He modified the existing center console and made it look like nothing ever happened. And then we did new carpet and new floor mats because the old carpet was a little bit beat, and we had to change some of it just due to the changes in the floor. But Dakota digital gauges, this one actually has vintage air. Came out here with the vintage air, but we did do the resto mod vents in our little dash skirt that we like to do underneath. So didn't do much in here, kept it simple, red on red, can't lose. New precision replacement products, weather seals. And then we spent a lot of time on these door glasses. So new felts, new swipes, mounted some of the tracks inside, but yeah, not a whole lot on the inside of this one because it was already pretty nice. Like those seats are killer. They're not the most comfortable, but they look cool. So, and the doors close nice, so that's cool. Well, that's a wrap for this one. Only have like 50 miles on this truck, so we might see it again. But like I said, we're giving it back to Brandon early so that he can make it to the Grand National Roadster Show this weekend. If you're going to be out there, well, when are we going to post this video? Never mind. You're not going to see this video until after the Grand National Roadster Show is over. But if you were out there, then you would have saw this truck, and then Derek Baumgartner is bringing his 57 3100 out there as well. So that's the next stop for this truck. Thanks for watching all these wrap-up videos. I feel like this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 5th one that we wrap up, and we still have one more to go, which we're going to do a little bit extra on. But for now, go to the website, buy some shirts and hats. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Leave us a comment. For the haters, let us know how much you hate the tires. For everybody else, appreciate you guys. See ya. And it's cold out here today. Look, I got 2 jackets and see my breath. These things come up. This guy's gonna park right in our line. Like, what are you doing? See the stuff we deal with? Like OBS, it was like some rude dude that wanted us to leave. This guy is he's just gonna park there. So rather than worrying about it, we're just gonna finish the video.